What is up? I'm going to be running over a trade recap from today. It is December 2nd, Tuesday, 2025. So, just to get into it, I'm going to also, this might be a little bit longer, but it's fine. Something to go back on, which is exactly what I need. So, coming into the day, what do we see right off the bat? We can go over to the daily time frame. We are coming from what? Filling in this daily imbalance, resting right between here, which I will mark out. Right between here, this daily imbalance that we had, right? So we're clearly looking bullish. To add on to that, what do we see? Like I said, that was a daily imbalance. We can get rid of this drawn liquidity, this drawn liquidity. I did a live trading session today, by the way, but then I accidentally spilled coffee on my MacBook, which destroyed it. So I got a new laptop today. So I'm just trying to get used to it. What else do we see coming into the day? We have 4-hour buy side liquidity. See right there. Sell side liquidity. Sell side liquidity resting right there as well. But what do we see? Now, coming into market open, we actually swept this out already. ES. Oh, I forgot I have to play a little with ES. We'll actually pull up ES's charts over here. But ES kind of gave the same thing. So we can go over to its 4-hour. Before market opened, this was swept on NASDAQ already, and this wasn't. So, or maybe, I believe it might have been this actually. We're at 9. This wasn't swept out yet. This did. So we can go over into the 1 hour. We see in the 1 hour. So we're delivering from sell side, sweeping out overnight. We also had an SMT get put in here on this low. Swept it out over here. It did not sweep it out, pushed us higher, right? So, and that's also coming on the daily. So we're looking bullish. On top of that, recent price action, we inversed fair value gap pricing right between here. We would be delivering from sell side liquidity to then also be disrespecting bearish fair value gaps, ideally going higher. And then also respecting bullish fair value gaps coming into the day. We have one fair value gap listing right here, which is already mitigated. It's already been touched. But these would be potential draws where maybe we could sweep buy side here and then move down for these draws. Is what I was thinking. So we can go into the 30-minute as well. Let's actually look at our daily profiles. We can ignore what Asian session did, but we notice what we did up here. Reversal. We were pushing lower. London session gave the reversal. That reminds me of what profile? London session reversal, New York continuation. As you can see, when the New York comes to open, you will see it continue up immediately off of that, off of those daily profiles. So overall, that was great. What else do we see coming into the day then? Where this is at 7:30. We can look at prices profile. Let's delete some of this on the ES. So, like I said, ES has what? This drawn liquidity. This drawn liquidity up here. Actually, that would be a 4-hour, I believe. Yep. ES has these draws of liquidity to go and reach to. And then this one right here. So we can look on the 1 hour there. We can look on the 30-minute here. If we even look on the 1 hour here, you can see, like I said, we already swept it out. We did not over on ES. So then we get right into market open, which is right here. We can go right into the 15-minute. Actually, we can go into the 5-minute. 15. We see right off of that. No fair value gap up here stopping us. No fair value gap right here stopping us. See buy side liquidity. Maybe a lot of people were thinking we were going to push lower immediately right off market open. We've seen New York continuation. Wow. Incredible candle up higher. I believe we come into 1 hour for I got to my screen. We actually do. Here, but this would also, now we can look at the higher time frame. We have a 4-hour gap resting right up here. And this is where I was looking for the Mech model today. Significant drawn liquidity being swept. In this case, it was buy side and tapping into a higher time frame key level. I need to see heavy reaction off of it and unfilled 5 to 15 minute fair value gaps. And that would be my targets. So we can go into here, go move into the 5 minute. We're clearly pushing bullish trend. I believe actually my mentor got in right around here in this pullback down. Now, he gave it an incredible analogy on this. Not an analogy, but idea. So this is going to be harder to show since I did a live trade recap of it, and that footage got burned. This is what we would call a breakaway gap. So obviously, price is doing what? Manipulating higher to then give what? Could go to the drawn liquidity, which would be this 4 hour. That's what is the drawn liquidity. It's manipulating higher to go into this 4 hour drawn liquidity. What else? Well, a lot of people at the time being were seeing that we were getting a 3 minute, fair value gap formed here. And what a lot of people would do is be like, oh, well, yeah, we're getting a 3 minute, but we're also getting a 15 minute forming. And thinking that the 5 or 15 minute has to be filled before it moves higher. It has to be the thing that is used as manipulation. But here's the thing. It doesn't need to because the 3 minute already gave the manipulation. In the same cases, when we have a 5 minute gap that's filled, but then we already have also a 15 minute gap that's going to be formed in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. A lot of people, or even less, a lot of people will be like, oh, I should wait for the 15 minute to get tapped into, but that's what we call a breakaway gap. Something new I learned. This is what we call a breakaway gap. It doesn't need to get filled because the 5 minute or 3 minute, let's say for the first case it'd be the 3 minute, gave the manipulation, so it doesn't have to. And then if it was the 5 minute fair value gap only, and then we were getting 15 minute fair value gap, that will be forming soon. It's the 5 minute that actually gave the manipulation. We don't need that. It's what we call breakaway gap. And I believe it was the 3 minute fair value gap that he looked to get filled. This would be considered continuation. I don't trade these much. Then what is he looking for potentially either? I mean, I see right here break a structure. Maybe there's an SMT. Yeah, how does this play out? I think it does much higher. Nope. Either way, to this. Maybe there's a change in state, but let's go back to the 5 minute because I'm going to go into what I was wanting to trade then today. So we can remember that there was a 5 minute fair value gap here. It's actually, if we want to make it fill it out better, here. We have a 5 minute fair value gap. It's before we tap into this form. But the issue is it's already been filled, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So what I look for, like I said, is a higher time frame key level being tapped into and a sweep of significant drawn liquidity, leading to potentially a reversal or even rebalance price. That's the whole idea of this model. Boom, 4 hour gets tapped. I'm now. What else can you notice on the 5 minute? We have 5 minutes already been tapped into it down here. We also have a 5 minute that gets formed right here, and we just tapped into that higher time frame key level. Now we can go to the 15 minute as well. And notice that this 5 minute, it's actually, yes, it's been filled. It's a filled 5 minute, but it's actually a 15 minute fair value gap that is now unfilled. It hasn't been tapped into yet. Price could now, if it wants to continue higher, we'll probably want to retrace and rebalance back into this 15 minute zone or 5 minute. And to then go higher, right? Or it wants to then make its move off of this and push lower and flood the face and go down for potentially these low resistance draws on liquidity right here. What else? 1 hour gap here, 1 hour gap here, draws on liquidity right here. Launch a layer fair value gaps. It could want to go and fill. So we go back to the 5 minute. I'm now looking for the highest time frame inversion and ideally a stop hunt. So manipulation, making my stop loss now high resistance liquidity. And then we have high resistance liquidity resting above near my stop loss, but we have low resistance liquidity, which is where my take profit lies. This is lazy. It likes to go for the least amount of resistance, what I've learned. So I'm wanting to see an inverse. And we take the highest time frame inversion. That could be the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute. I don't have the 4 minute chart, so I use the 5 minute in all of them. And we see it's getting respected. Completely respected. It's being filled. But, and now I'm going to pause this. Oh, and there it goes. It just spoiled. What I was wanting to see is an inversion on this 5 minute fair value gap. And then a trade where I can put my stop loss at the highs here and go what? Well, a break-even point could be these 5-minute, can't type, 5-minute internal lows. We have 5-minute internal lows actually resting right here. I want to bold this actually. There we go. Where that could be my break even. And I'd be going break even at a 1-to-1 if we got an inversion around here. And then I could target into this 15-minute, or I could just take out fully at that 1-to-1, or I could target in this 15-minute, 1.65. Now, I needed to see an inverse. And price maybe could bounce off of this and go higher. Even if I go break even here, it comes back, stops me out, that's fine. It's a break even trade. What do we see? Crazy displacement. Ruined the trade. And I'm happy with myself because I disciplined on this because I wanted to enter. I saw him actually right around here. I was like, oh, there's a minute and a half left before this candle closes. I get in case it displaces lower. But how do we know that around here with that minute and a half, it actually doesn't come all the way back up? And what do you know? Stop loss is breached. So I saw it close all the way down here, and I was like, at that point, where's my stop loss go? This ruins my entry. I'm not getting in on this. What do you see? Taps in, would have worked out if it gave the inversion even up above here, but it just completely displays lower and I missed out on an entry. What do we see from there? So that was the model I was want to look at. What do we see from there? Well, actually, you have a continuation model off of this. And I didn't take this. My laptop at this point was spilled, and even then, I would have been picky with taking this. But what do we see? We have low resistance liquidity resting right above here. Low resistance. There was no stop on it. It was just low resistance. High and a high trendline liquidity, basically, right? We saw 5-minute internal lows. We tapped into a 15-minute fair value gap. What do we wanted to see? Potentially an inversion or break a structure. I've been leaning towards more inversions, but it depends how I just need a little more practice with them because I've usually traded breaker structures. We have a 3-minute fair value gap right here. Beautiful. Enter in. Yes, you're playing into this 5-minute. Could have maybe gone break even right at this 5-minute. Yes, you have a chance of losing this trade then very quickly, but or you could target the middle of the 5-minute to go break even, right? Or this is a 3-minute, go to the 5-minute. Where could you be targeting? To there. The 2 for that low resistance or liquidity. That it could be on your target, and maybe don't go break even at this trade. Even if your stop's up here. I was wondering if there is a way you could get a 1-to-1 on this trade. Actually, here, yeah, you could have just targeted the end of this 1-minute. Down near the middle of it. While you're dropping liquidity, what is resistance? Wait for them. Like I said, that inverse. Just play out. What do we see after that? I don't know if there was an SMT built around here. We go to the 5-minute after tapping out, sweeping out that low resistance draw on liquidity. That's an incredible mark right there for you. And we see a 5-minute fair value gap could put in crazy doji, clean inversion, back down. Pure manipulation. Where do we go to target? We inverse that 15-minute, by the way. Where do we go to target? These 1-hour fair value gaps. This one already got filled. What do we tap into? This 1-hour fair value gap, and this 1-hour fair value gap. Incredible day. An absolutely incredible day from the movement from the market, offering a lot of opportunities. The only opportunity I was looking for was only opportunity. Okay, still don't know what I'm doing. I guess was that Mech model short targeting into this 5-minute, 15-minute fair value gap, break even at the 5-minute internal lows or take full profit there. But we got too big of a displacement, which usually is a good thing, but too big of displacement to even enter that trade, and it would have run my risk reward. But I had great patience in that. That's the only one I look for. Otherwise, I had a buddy who took this continuation off of the 3-minute, which honestly, textbook. Now, I'm going to head over to YouTube real quick and actually show a video. Absolutely textbook day, though.
So starting high time frame now, I actually
This is a 5-minute video. This is sauce. This is sauce. I'm going to get this set up fully. for y'all to see. But I mean, genuinely, let me know what you think.
Sent this out the other night.
We'll go full screen. Um, Overall, absolutely crazy. I mean, this dude's incredible. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the continuation that I was talking about earlier, but make sure.
At 4 in the morning. So all I've been looking at is this unmitigated daily gap above previous week highs, and then obviously continuing this trend. Now we didn't get this run lower, but I was kind of okay with that since we already had the high time frame retrace. So if you go in the daily, you can just see we're still delivering from this manipulation way back when. If you go to my last trade recap, it was on a Friday. It was basically covering all of this, and we've just been ripping bullish from here. So of course I'm going to trade with the trend, and then going on the low time frame, we basically had the perfect scenario, right? 9:30 open bullish, and in general we were just in a continuation sense. But what made this setup so good? What do I want y'all to focus on? It's really the P03, right? This is kind of what my whole setup or what my whole model is built around. It's about mastering manipulation. So before I get into this, I do want y'all to notice the key levels, right? ES closed above this previous range and has this gap that's essentially letting us just continue the move. But on top of this, ES, and sorry, this looks a little ugly, ES is now, and I know it's disrespecting at this point, but at the time of entry, ES had just struck into this 4-hour unmitigated gap, right, for the first time. So at the time of entry for obviously this long, we were manipulating in a good continuation gap for NQ and a good continuation gap for NAS or for ES as well. So we have everything we need, as well as a fat, and I mean fat SMT at 930 lows. So we have a huge divergence inside of that high time frame kilo. If you watch my SMT video, that's a high probability SMT. And then given the targets, it's perfect, right? High time frame, bullish, and at low time frame, we have this accumulation. So going to the P03, what did 10 a.m. do? Well, 10 a.m. opened high and accumulated and then ran lower. Right, we ran lower, we swept out liquidity, and essentially we got the price, right? So now that we're below opening price, or opening opening price, so we're in a time discount, and now we're sweeping out liquidity. We have the high time frame key level, we have the SMT as well as where ES was at, which we just went over. We have everything for our continuation. But what made that even better? The 30-minute P03. So at this moment, we are now below 10 a.m. opening price, but on top of that, now we're below 10:30 opening price as well. So I just want you all to see this diagram. Essentially, you are pushing the limit of discount. Think of like being in a major discount, but of time, of opening price, right? 10 a.m. opens, and I know this isn't perfect. This is simply just for framework's sake. But we open, we run lower, and then we open again on another high time frame candle and do what we run lower again. So we're essentially just pushing the limit of this discounted time, right? We're way below opening price. We have super good manipulation, and now we also have perfect targets. We have this old accumulation right here, and you can also see with 1030, we do what? We add to the targets. 1030 prints two wicks here. We print a wick to the buy side and a wick to the sell side. Well, what happened at those wicks? Whenever you're using P03, make sure to ask yourself, what are we doing? Where are we manipulating? Well, up to the buy side, absolutely nothing. In fact, we added to that liquidity, literally as I just said. Didn't even hit this one unmitigated gap. We added to it, right? And instead, we struck below this low, got that stop hunt that I wanted inside of that 30-minute gap, and obviously the 4-hour with ES, and then this SMT, which is perfect. Now, I don't have the 30 seconds, so I'm just going to show you all this. But yeah, this is, you can see I clearly got excited about this. But this is what the 30-second structure looked like, right? We have this accumulation right here. We run lower, strike out this liquidity pool, right? That's the stop hunt, and then we instantly inverse, right? It takes us 3 candles to inverse, a ton of displacement. I also like how we printed this down close candle body, and then the next candle instantly rips above, closes through the gap, and this tiny little candle right there as well. So it's like a low time frame change in the state and just overall gas, where you can see I also had a haircut today. Bro, I nearly missed this trade. I got a haircut, I came back in time, and I still caught this, so literally such a good day for me. But overall, this trade is perfect. It has everything you want. It aligns with a high time frame. It's a continuation. You have an SMT, and this is also the stronger pair. The P03 could not be better. right? It genuinely could not be better. Make sure whenever you're taking your trades that you're aligning yourself with the high time frame manipulation so you can actually catch trades like this. Anyway, hope this made sense. I feel like this was really short. Like I don't know if I'm like just really weirded out with the recaps because I haven't done it in a minute, just because I haven't traded in a minute. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope this made sense. If you do have questions, make sure to join up to the Discord. I do these live commentaries every day, right? You can see, like I was talking about, yo, I just got back in time for 10:30. I thought PA was really mid at this point because we haven't really done anything, but I do this every day, and then on top of that, I also do a stream schedule, or I have a stream every day of the week.
That's one thing I'm trying to learn is P03. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. The way you have this to come back to. As you can tell, I have the indicator up in my chart. Just learning how to use it. I think that should probably my goal for the night. Should probably go lighter. P03. It's just the daily P03. Overall, I mean, it was a great recap. Another recap. Basically, one of the trades I was talking about was PB Blake. To understand those from today. Either way, I mean, like I said, I was looking for Mech shorts today. I'm thinking about adding continuation into my arsenal, but I also have a lot I'm focusing on right now, which is like 5-minute S&Ts, 1-minute breaker structures, and then liquidity sweep, 5-minute break, a retrace, and then another breaker structure for like my reversal model, and then having this Mech model on top of that, which I think is going to be my bread and butter. Seriously, I love that. I mean, just in my liquidity breaker structure, retrace breaker structure is like bread and butter, but it's also that it's not as frequent as the Mech model will play out. But just to have a continuation in my bag as well, because for the quarters, I was thinking about like obviously stick to reversals. That's my bread and butter, but have continuation models and things I can trade with experience, which definitely takes time. I mean, we'll see with it. I'm gonna get most of this deleted off my screen though. I actually, I'm correct. The Asia session already opened. It did. But I mean, that's really it. I'm going to move on from this though, and I will get this uploaded. Hoping the sound and quality is all good. And like I said, I had to set up everything new on this laptop. It's Windows instead of MacBook, but it's chill. I'm used to Windows growing up, but now I'm not. But a big thing I'm starting to understand is like coming into the day. It's actually some sauce I'm about to give. Coming into the day, don't worry about daily bias if you're an intraday trader, because we don't. I mean, we don't need to know like where the candle's going to end at the end of the day. Just find your draw on liquidities. So, and that's like, are we delivering from sell side or buy side? I mean, especially if your trades are shorter. If your trades last from like less than 20 minutes, you just need to find your draw on liquidity. Now, when I trade my liquidity sweep breaker structure, retrace breaker structure, I mean, maybe yeah, I need to know, but it's also if you're like trading like 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s, you just need small draws, and that's where you can target like unfilled 5 to 50 minutes, like low resistance liquidity, relatively on the higher time frame, right? Where you're only getting 1-to-1, 1-to-2. But if you're targeting like 1-hour draws, 4-hour draws, you're probably targeting a bigger RR. I mean, it also depends, but we get most of this stuff deleted. It's just like coming to the day, look at the daily. All right, if we are delivering, like Ronan talked in that video, what are we really delivering from on the daily? This sweep of liquidity on the daily. And as of right now, we have and we're getting crazy rejection. We haven't run into anything, especially coming into the like prior to that. Yeah, we have let's say um, we have highs, right, or an inversion. We got a daily inverse. Like there's nothing that's stopping us to tell us on the daily that we want to go lower. So until probably we come for this daily high or maybe respect this fair value gap and push lower, or we just go for all-time highs, right? But nothing right now is stopping us. We had a daily fair value gap here that we have inversed. We respected a daily fair value gap. right here. We respected a daily fair value gap. What are we doing? We're disrespecting bearish PD arrays and respecting bullish, telling us, okay, we'll probably want to go higher to target what? Probably draws liquidity here, rebalance inefficiencies up here for these all-time highs. So that's something to go into on the phone. And then figure out your bias on the higher time frame, the daily, right? The weekly. And then understand where we are trending to. And is anything telling us differently on those time frames? Like if we respected this daily and filled it, right? We just came and filled it and we were showing projection off. Okay, we're probably going for what? This daily here. Right? That's probably gonna be the next draw. Maybe we go for this daily that's resting in between here. Or maybe we want to come down lower into here. Or to this low. Or maybe we respect that daily to come into this daily to make the move higher. But as you can see, like I said, we're disrespecting bearish PD arrays. It was inside this range. This is I'll just mark that off. Kind of funny. This is a daily fair value gap and it's bearish. We're disrespecting that. We inverse that. And we have a daily bullish fair value gap right between here. What are we doing? Respecting that. We filled in orders and we're pushing higher. We had one left behind here, which I thought maybe we don't want to leave that behind, but we've already manipulated. We don't need to do that because we've already manipulated a higher time frame daily. And we are pushing away from that. Maybe, just maybe, we come up to these draws, respect, and then come down for this daily or potentially or something. But I'm assuming we're going to push higher for the rest of December. 4 hour, come into the 4 hour. What are we seeing? So it's starting from the top of the time frames and then pushing yourself lower out to get off on where we need to start looking differently, change the perspective. 4 hour, what are we doing? This is just on the NASDAQ. We are delivering from sell side originally, right? Like I said, we were looking at daily time frames down here, lower. But 4 hour, what are we doing? We're delivering from sell side liquidity before we get to this point, right? We were sweeping lows here, so those lows here we swept, pushing higher. We're delivering from sell side, we're looking bullish. We have buy side resting here. Let's also keep in mind the daily and where we're potentially going, which can overpower the 4 hour here. Because 4 hour, I think it's looking bullish too. We have a 4 hour drawn liquidity right here. We have 4 hour liquidity resting right here. I'm assuming coming into the day, that's going to be the draw. And we sweep it out right away, which then you could look for your reversal potentially on that rebalance. Understanding before we go and sweep out that draw, even if we do in the beginning of the day, that's where we look for conditions, right? That's where we look on the 30-minute, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute to see on those fair value gaps or order blocks in those time frames to see where price is going to want to tell us to go. If we sweep this 4 hour right up market open, right? Imagine if we get a 5-minute inverse and we go lower, or 15-minute or 30-minute inverse, and then we're actually going to go lower. But if we're respecting fair value gaps, which, like I said, coming in, we sweep that buy side liquidity. What do? We were pushing higher. Market immediately didn't get us time to think. It pushed higher, just big 1 minute candle rip. And what do we see right off of that 5-minute? We create a fair value gap, one that we respect to tell us, hey, we're probably going to go higher. But coming into that too, we also came in and pushed higher to do what? Well, we're so close to this 4 hour. There's no other draws on liquidity to be swept right now other than this 4 hour, which would be the biggest time frame. We're expecting to ideally push into this 4 hour, wait for price to push into the 4 hour, and do what? Push lower. On top of that, before it pushed into the 4 hour, like I said, what do we see before it pushed into that 4 hour? It manipulated into a fair value gap to then push higher. All right. But like I said, you go to those lower time frames to look at where you think price is going to go coming into the day, get an idea of what are we doing. Then you look on your daily profiles to give us an idea of where trend is going to be. Like I said, London session gave reversal, daily profiles. If you don't know what daily profiles are, I would look into that. But London session gave the reversal. We're expecting New York to actually get the continuation. And it did that to these draws in liquidity, to this 4 hour fair value gap. That was a draw in liquidity. And then what do we see off of that? We actually get our move lower. In the same way you could look at it, we have on the 30-minute AMD, 30-minute accumulation, big manipulation higher, distribution. You could say this could have been. I would say this would be the distribution because, like I said, can't speak. 15-minute time frame, kind of a consolidating a range. We get a big manipulation higher, sweep out draws in liquidity, tapping a higher time frame key level. We're expecting distribution lower, so kind of a Mech model, also AMD model, PDI model, where you could have targeted the highest time frame inversion, and then targeted what? The accumulation lows, which kind of already did get swept out here on this low at 835 in this range, but we had all this here. This here, this resting here, this resting here. It would be this and this. But that could have been your target. And let's say you do get that. My gosh, yeah, actually, let me turn off the daily profile. And say you do take that and you do take the highest time frame inversion, and you just get under this inversion right here, stops up to here, you target those accumulation lows. It's a 1-to-1. Let's say, like I said, that Mech model, I missed out on that Mech model, and we actually respect this 50-minute. If you're not even waiting for the continuation to what, right? Maybe we just trend higher, but actually we get that, and we're coming back into that 4 hour. Which, like I said, you can see over here on that 4 hour. We tapped into it once, twice, third time now. Tapping back into it. And we, like I said, accumulation, manipulation, somewhat distribute. But then what do we really get is expansion lower. I mean, and this is manipulation right here, manipulation as well. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And then we're pushing higher. Like it's just smaller on time frames of it, right? 5-minute accumulating. We actually get manipulation of this 5-minute internal low. We're distributing higher now. And then we get, you could say it's just accumulation on the 1 minute. That maybe I'm thinking of this wrong, but you could say then after we get that, we get accumulation on the 1 minute, which gives what? Manipulation on these 1 minutes and then distribute. I mean, it's lower time period, so it doesn't have as much power. But this is just the ideas I'm trying to put into your head. Wasn't loading for me. And take the highest time frame version, and like I said, target these accumulation lows, which are resting right here through this range. Isn't that cool how that works? And obviously, I took nothing today. To be honest about that, I took one trade on Friday last week, and I was up north, so I wasn't able to record any of it. I took nothing yesterday, and I saw the Mech model yesterday. I wanted to take it, but it just, like I said, the inversion wasn't great, and it played out. And then today, the inversion was there, but displacement was so crazy that I actually okay. Jeez. Um, the inversion was so crazy right here that it already hit my drawn liquidity. But like I said, if it closed right around here, stops up here, would have been 1-1 for me. That just wasn't the case. But yeah, that's really it going into it. I said, I wonder if I could find my 22 CT mentorship. This was a good recap of this. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, like I said, go learn the basics from someone else. Do not learn it from me. But if you understand what I'm talking about, maybe I'm giving you a little bit of sauce. Um, Especially because a lot of the shit I'm saying I'm learning as I go. And this is just for me, it's not to help other traders, but to document my journey from literally when I was unprofitable to when I didn't know what I literally I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just watching what my buddy did every morning and just asking questions, to me trading on my own, to me being unprofitable trading on my own, to me actually seeing success and passing evals on my own, to then also get on the express and be break even for like a month even. So I'm going to wonder if I can clear the chart. Oh, that's awesome. What if I put one more drawing on here? Liberty with the back. Oh, that's so awesome. Sick. Shit. Sooner or later, I'm having an aneurysm with this thing. Overall, I think my goal tonight is actually to be looking at really just going back into the Mech model, understanding that, and then understanding the PDI model maybe a little bit more, and just understanding manipulation, how to master manipulation, like Ronan said. Then stop hunts and P03, which I have 4 hours to do all of that. I think I can get pretty far, so I'm going to end this video. I'm going to get this definitely uploaded. I have to learn how to upload it from here. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you did watch this whole video, I hopefully you learned something. I got a lot of work to get done, so please have a wonderful night.